could a band that appears so innocent and harmless become the force of such anger and hostility? This is a group of brothers just trying to make music. It wasn't just a rise in success and subsequent jealousy from others either. It was genuine disgust from many people wondering how a newer band in the mid-2010s could get so popular with the unhealthiest artificial cheese anyone could ever ingest. I made a promise years ago that I would cover the clique on Regretting the Past, talking about the sophomore album from a band of brothers known as AJR. In that time since that promise, I have experienced pandemic, job furlough, mother getting cancer, father fighting ongoing bouts of cancer, starting and finishing grad school, getting married, moving 900 miles, moving again after that, hitting 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, and somehow not thinking of AJR in the process. I have been busy. After revisiting the clique, I now unfortunately wish I had more life events to be busy with so I could have pushed this off longer. There is no color in the world anymore. Everything is a shade of either miserable gray or deep blood red. First time I listened to AJR was with the clique when the band's popularity truly exploded and caught mainstream focus, and the clique went gold. And I was so curious even after hearing many warnings from people not to listen. I did not like it one bit, but I chuckled at a lot of it because it was essentially Kids Bop for adults. The music legit sounded like the creators of Kids Bop bypassed covering songs and made their own cheeseball happy innocent music. Dumb as a bag of hammers, but the hammer bag is innocent and not hurting anyone unless used inappropriately. Things not to use inappropriately. Hammers and AJR music both lead to headaches. Fast forward to this year, and the album statistics show that the clique has been certified platinum in the United States with other certifications around the world and several platinum singles on the album. That is not a small feat. That's a big deal for three guys from New York just trying to play music. You know, another time three guys from New York try to make it big through music?
No sleep till Brooklyn!
New York City, everything from Beastie Boys to AJR, literally the full spectrum of music and talent. And ridiculous material. Beastie Boys are legends and that was a joke, but where Beastie Boys aged well and became influential for so many artists, AJR was a group of brothers busking in New York City that became the happiest kids ever who could make it big without dirty-handed tactics. So why is the album so regretted and despised? There are many reasons, but it's worth pointing out one big distinction. It's not the band that most people can't stand, it's the music, the overly produced, high-polished indie alt-pop rock electronic Frankenstein monster of music. I mean, there's high production value, overproduction, and then there's AJR.
College dropout kind of vibe. Then we got to this 90s rap rock. And then on top of that hip hop vibe, big Disney violins, trumpets, orchestral.
This is the type of production that would burn out CPUs just to complete an album in post, smoke coming from computer towers and laptops as it's trying to process final tracks. I want to prove several points in this video. The main point, however, is that an album like The Clique is worth regretting, but not for the reasons you might think. Normally on a series like this, it's because the music sucks, and the band sucks, and everyone involved is awful, and the fans are awful. Well, not all that applies here. For AJR and The Clique, this is a unique product of its time. By all measures, something like this should not have been so commercially successful, but wow, it was. Please subscribe if you haven't already, hit the like button, and ring the bell as it does help the channel a ton. Let's start with an overture. Does that make sense? No? Well, neither does AJR's music at times, so let's get going. I mean, the opening does have that walking through New York City sunshine vibe, so that's something. There is no way this was not meant for toddlers. This screams Nickelodeon cartoon soundtrack. After a lot of nonsense, a lot, 2 minutes into the opening overture, it just stops, and the brothers start playing with sound effects and loops. I laugh at this still a little bit. I forgot how bonkers this album gets. It's musical gibberish. When you do the thing in front of an infant to entertain it, I mean, put a bad bass drop beat and you have the opening to this song and album. People who bought this album based off one of the singles must have been so confused. Here's our new album, The Click. The reoccurring bit is, should I go for more online clicks or should I follow the musical click in my ear? Get it? A play on the word click. That is as smart as this album gets. I promise you will get dumber as this goes on. Now comes the good part. The song title of the next track is The Good Part. I promise I don't think the next track is good. The openings to these songs are absolute trash. Nonsense. Talk about extending your music by any means necessary. I feel like this was meant to be played under a playground for kids, and this is the wild, bright soundtrack with no substance, just noise. Sad how well that works. I bet the playground visual works well with other parts of the song as well. Looking forward to the good part of life, not knowing what you are doing with your life yet. At the time of this album coming out, the oldest member of AJR was 28. Time to figure it out. This song was the final single to come off The Click in 2021. Due to TikTok and Instagram users posting and dancing to this joyous, happy dance of a track, The Good Part was released as an additional single and a music video was made more than 4 years after album release. Gross. Just for every band TikTok has helped blow up in popularity, for some reason, it brought back to life a terrible song from a band that had already moved on from the album.
Can we skip to the good part?
AJR being used for social media dances. That kinda makes sense though. It's nonsense. Goofy music with artificial instruments and daydream lyrics that amount to nothing. I mean, that's just perfect and dumb and promotes failing upward until you get attention. The Click, failing upwards towards platinum.
No thank you is what I should have said.
No thank you is what I should have told people about doing this. Weak was the third single from the album. The vocals are modded and filtered in several keys, and for some reason I feel like this predates AI music. I know it wasn't made with AI, but doesn't it give that gross feeling? The bad loops with no creativity, it's just kind of smushed together. This is just a group of brothers playing around on a drum machine with downloaded packages, and they just jumble it around to a badly written song with a terrible falsetto. The sound effects are out of control. I would rather just give a toddler a Fisher-Price toy, let him go to town on pushing the buttons. This isn't a wall of sound, it's a wall of Elgato Stream Deck buttons pushed at the same time and selling it as a good time. The track was written in one day. Yeah, no kidding, right? But it was inspired by 21 Pilots, the Beach Boys, and Kanye West. To which I say, what? Remember the demo button on the old Casio keyboards? Some of the nicer ones would play a little track of all the things you could do with the different effects and filters. Well, AJR said, we'll take it! And they just wrote a day's worth of inspirational wall art on top and sang it terribly.
Hello, hello, I'm not where I'm supposed to be. Hello, hello, last time that I saw your face.
For those wondering why Rivers Cuomo is a feature on this song, you were wondering the same thing everyone did when Sober Up came out as a single. Doesn't exactly add much as for such an established musician to be on a song and not sounding better than AJR. It's a weird accomplishment. Sober Up was the first song from AJR I ever heard, and it was boasted properly with all the Warner Brothers support and a propped up band could make. This is the type of song that wants to show you a deeper and insightful style of songwriting, and while transparent as a window, it worked. Radio took off with it. Everything about this feels like a parody of a fake band that you'd see in a movie or TV show that's playing at a coffee bar or college campus. Nonsense lyrics with no real musical talent or projection. You remember the TV show California Dreams? Think that music, but way worse. And no entertainment value. And not real instruments. Okay, it's nothing like California Dreams. I'm sorry to California Dreams. This, in many ways, is the focal point of the clique, and that is shameful considering how hollow and thoughtless some of the song is. Listen to these lyrics and imagine a playground again. Kids playing, laughing. That's what the music works best as. Happy background noise on a sunny day. It's not deep or thought-provoking. If anything, it's unintentionally targeting a younger audience because of this. A song like this sets back indie music and alternatives so far because it shows how spoiled kids with positive affirmations and no responsibility can fart around with sound effects and loops and be given a big record deal because the noise can sell if packaged and targeted right. AJR's music can be targeted and directed in many ways with the right manipulation. Take that same sound clip with one of the worst lyric lines I've ever heard and make it slightly unnerving. See how scary I can make this? AJR could totally horrify people with the right tone. Why am I trying to scare you? Well, one, I think it's funny. 2, the music is so depraved from creativity and inspiration that it can be adapted to anything. That's awful, and the song went 2 times platinum. Rivers Cuomo showing up for 1/10 of his potential, and AJR Brothers goofing around with audio software. Warner Brothers shipped it, and radio collectively said, yes, we have another dumb group of indie boys to help get listens from kids. The vocals, the backtrack, the attempted emotional lyrics that are insultingly stupid, even the lazy string loops, all of it is awful. This song made me hate string sections in music. That is terrible.
And I wanna feel something again.
I want to feel something again. That brain cell working. This song, I think, shorted a few of them out in my head. Let's take 30 seconds to rest and peacefully watch some cute pet footage.
With a lot of our music, I think we take the approach of kind of a wall of sound, 3 or 4 instruments, compress it, distort it, shove it in your face.
Wall of sound, eh? Don't say.
We had Jack go, it down, auto-tuned the whole thing and processed it.
Then you have Jack just make noises for vocals, huh? Platinum sales, everyone!
We act like reality shows, probably cause reality blows.
Mine currently does right now. Also, AJR complaining about people trading in their lives for MTV shows is not a new concept, but it's somehow dumber coming from 3 grown men under $1 million contract who would busk in New York City with no real responsibility other than goof around all day. So much of the chorus with the awful bass effect and nonsense he said, she said, I hate this and I feel like I'm picking on high schoolers. I really feel like I'm picking on high schoolers. If high schoolers wrote this, I would have accepted it. But again, all of AJR were in their 20s when this album came out, and they didn't even perform it all. They pushed a record button with pre-made loops.
Everybody's talking. Hold up, but I'm so caught up in drama.
The track is meant to point out things that really aren't important that people treat as a big deal. TMZ drama, MTV reality shows, a guy on YouTube complaining about a 10-year-old album. Fine. But what is important to you? You forgot to finish the point in the song you were making. That would have helped out. That would have made something if you added what you should focus on. Drama was also one of the singles. I don't know how, and I don't know what stations played this song, but I am ashamed of any stations that force their DJs to program this into a schedule.
I grew up on Disney, but this don't feel like Disney.
Disney would have put in way more effort. Even in the 2010s, I'm pretty sure Disney Channel would have done much more than this. It's another song about trying to figure out who you are. Turning out. How you're turning out. Again, they are in their 20s, and I know many people have these feelings, but they don't express it with tons of money in a studio session. Or a bedroom laptop recording session. Oh, that's weird. Woof. No, I absolutely did not. Relating as a little kid with so much doubt just furthers the point of immature 20-somethings with beat boop music. Gene Belcher on Bob's Burgers did more than that, and he's 11. And he's not real. And I'd still take most of Gene Belcher's keyboard fart sound effects over this. I do wish I could play a medley of Gene's greatest hits right now, but Fox would shut this whole channel down. I apologize. You just have to listen to more AJR. Why would I explain what this is when I could have someone from the band do it?
Spoke step. It's a word we invented. Cutting up vocals over a beat the way that dubstep would cut up bass sounds.
Oh, did that not sound like a good definition? I promise it's not good in execution either.
I didn't smoke no grass today. When I to take away what makes you feel this great.
So he's saying he doesn't smoke grass or doesn't smoke grass anymore, but loves to play and won't judge others for doing it. It's like an awful after-school special in a terrible alternate universe. Drugs are bad, but I won't judge if you do it. What in the world? The horn section is awful on this. I swear the brass sounds on the song were made with a USB keyboard. Not an actual Casio keyboard either. A USB keyboard. Push button. Toot. That's it. I hate every second of this. What else can I say without being mean? This is the worst example of popular music because so much of this is not music. I mean at all. The digital metronome was the standout instrument. What is with the keyboard sound demos? Okay, I've never met anyone who thought a sample like this should be a complete track, let alone album. I don't even know what instrument that was that I just heard. The song is 3:30 and the track length is 3 minutes and 30 seconds. If that doesn't give you insight in how little creativity goes into AJR's writing, then I'm not sure what else will convince you.
I thought I had the ADHD, but that's a real thing, and I'm just lazy.
You sure are, pal, but lazy people normally don't fail upward into RIAA certification, so you hit the lazy person jackpot. Though being so lazy just to name your song after the runtime, and the runtime is extremely stretched out by sound effects and nonsense, that it is a new limit of laziness, so that's something to think about. I imagine a young AJR fan waiting in line at a concert for AJR, talking to other fans going, "What's your favorite deep cut? Mine's 3:30. Because of that ADHD line, AJR totally gets me." See how ridiculous that sounds? Because it never happened. It never happened. I imagined it up here. I imagined it because I think it's funny, but I know that's impossible. No one has ever said that about a song like this.
Wanna call my dad.
They auto-tuned a man whining about wanting to call his dad. That's it. That's the song. That's pathetic. I feel bad for the dad in this part. Dad totally was embarrassed by this and just had to say, "Good job, son," after hearing it to his kids. Even though he hated it. But now this whole album sold well and Dad has to hide his identity. For those who are going to come at me about AJR's dad, it was a joke. I promise I don't care. Stop defending AJR through the click. This is literally the worst case AJR has against them. For some reason, AJR and Warner released Call My Dad as the first single off the album in December 2015. Merry Christmas, everyone! Sheesh. Santa, drop a mountain of coal on my house next year before this.
Standing here to call my dad.
Oh, Dad is absolutely hammered at a bar ignoring his kids' calls, especially if the kids sound like this. I never once heard this on radio or satellite. I can't imagine it got attention. I can't even imagine people playing it because they genuinely enjoy it. Turns out autotune cannot make anyone sound good.
When my hate is cause I don't got 'em.
Oh, YouTube and Reddit say otherwise, good sirs. This was the Clique's second single, and I'm not even sure what the point of this is really. It feels like they had 5 tongue-in-cheek ideas about staying positive against naysayers, while also pointing out how they are not famous on their Warner Brothers album. The story is that after the debut AJR album, people would sometimes ask them what it's like to be famous, and the brothers would say, "We're not famous." That's it. That's the depth of the song. The music video added to the nonsense with a proud Jack Met walking around New York City in a onesie on a low-budget production. I mean, nothing else really means much to AJR, so I'm sure this is just as nonsensical. Some of the video was also shot at YouTube Space in New York City. Add that to the long list of things people complain about YouTube for, he says on a YouTube video of his own. The instrument track and beat are awful. The tambourine even sounds electronic and processed and fake. A processed digital tambourine. Wow, AJR sucks.
I had my first crush in season 2. She'd pass me notes and fill our hands with glue.
This gives Simple Plan vibes. 20-year-olds talking about their first school crush and trying to be relatable to children and teens. Why is this a thing? Then they try to get deep with the who am I's and how they turned down drinking at 12 but instead just watch The Office at home. Don't bring The Office into this. People still love that show.
Wonder where we're going. Who am I back and taking every moment?
The entire concept of trying to talk about your youth while still trying to figure out your own current self-worth would work well if you were still somewhat young. These were grown men. Yeah, I'll bet Warner Brothers record label was drooling over digital cheese like this. No thought, and it's noisy for the kiddos. Just rake in mom and dad's cash because their kids are gonna want to buy this. And it goes on about how your identity can be tied with the shows you grow up with. That'd be fine if you didn't also try to relate it to school crushes and graduations with terrible, grating horns and a lazy drum beat. I think less of Netflix and The Office now.
Way up, way up, way up to the sky.
If he's just press and play, kicking in the basement.
On paper, Bud Like You sounds like the perfect song to have as an advertisement collab with Budweiser. But AJR's goal isn't to help sell beer, it's to help spread friendship and feelings. AJR are like the Care Bears the more that I think about it. Budweiser would not even touch this happy, cheery camp song, and that's what it is, a glorified camp song where they get the campers to sing about friendship together. That's it. Even Care Bears weren't that lame. They do talk about getting high again, but they relate it sneakily as a bud, like you also being a friend. It's dumb. I want to claim these lyrics came out while someone was really stoned, but AJR gives up 11-year-old summer camp vibes, so I have no clue.
Basement, kicking in the basement. Boy, it's good to know I got a bud like you.
Someone really needs to take away the sound effect loops and packages from these boys. Not only would their music-making career be gone, we wouldn't have to hear trash like this anymore. This song isn't even Nickelodeon or Disney Channel. This is Nick Jr. with the talking face. Put that face over the playground visual and you can totally see this being a summer camp jingle.
Boy, it's good to know I got a bud like you.
I'll be there next time.
Don't. I promise you are not welcome here anymore. Do not come. Not only does the final song not save the album, it's just as bad and indistinguishable as the rest of the album. The effects and loop are harsh. Chicago gets a call out, and Chicago doesn't deserve that. And singing about friends wanting to hang out? Friends shouldn't want to hang out with you if music like this is involved. It's rare to find a song or album closer or album in full so void of originality and true integrity. This is way past lazy. In the sense of music making and shockingly dumb lyrics and the summation at the end of the song about going for more clicks again, it screams just goofing off. There's nothing to it. This truly was one of the most obnoxious albums I've ever heard, and I came back to it years later after release and reconfirmed that it's just as obnoxious now as it was in 2017. It's not toxic positivity, it's toxic self-expression with no meaning. It's pandering to kids and teenagers who ask questions and don't think about answers, and then still praising them for being smart and creative for asking questions. All that said, I could not hate AJR. As bad, cheesy, cornball, hokey, whatever you want to call this, as bad as The Click is as a packaged album, I cannot hate AJR because this album was not made to trick or capitalize on youth. The label may have turned it into that, but AJR meant this as a sincere album. They tried to make something fun and from their hearts, and that's somehow more shocking. Three brothers made sound effects that were intended to be upbeat and catchy music. That's the villainous origin story broken down to its core. The music spoke to a younger audience while also gaining attention on alt radio in the mid-2010s, and in turn the younger than standard radio listening audience ate it up. Was that success a part of the anger and hostility towards AJR, or was it all just the hokey music? Maybe it's a mix, but this is definitely not Kidz Bop. Although it really does feel like Kidz Bop. I make that Kidz Bop comparison again because when you listen, you hear the over-the-top, high-polished, no-heart production to smooth out the edges and get a prominent beat while younger kids, this time grown-ups, take over singing it. Kidz Bop sang over already made songs, re-recorded and stripped down as quickly as possible to give it a cutesy upbeat tone to make it connect with children. AJR had the cutesy upbeat tone, but it was almost completely original. And it still sounds like that. The biggest comparison to Kidz Bop, though, isn't the music, but the live show. There, Kidz Bop Live and AJR have more in common. Kidz Bop Live has teenagers lip-syncing to the pre-recorded Kidz Bop tracks while riling up the young audience. Over the years, AJR has upped their live show to include high-end puppetry and big screens. It's much more interactive than you'd think, and big venues are selling because people want to see AJR and sing along, I guess. My point is that both AJR and Kidz Bop make the live show as interactive and fun and lighthearted as possible, and in turn, it distracts from the quality of the music. It doesn't have to be great. It just has to be fun and bright and distracting, and that's enough. Kidz Bop is 100% manipulative, and its devious intentions to make money. That's the big difference, though. AJR, that's three guys that are truly sincere and trying to make music. And the celebration of music and arts, it's just so mindless and it's terrible quality. Calling it alt-pop junk food might even be too generous of a term because junk food is satisfying, but you know what happens to you after you eat too much junk food. If you listen to too much AJR, especially The Click, your brain is going to rot. Straight up rot. Gray matter, wrinkle smoothing out rot. I used to make a joke about no one's listening to Kiss or Motley Crue while studying for the bar exam. Well, I can't imagine law students studying while listening to AJR either. The Click is bad. Terrible even. In fact, it sets back self-production and self-motivated bands back a bit because this is what gets attention if targeted by a machine. But I still do not hate the band. AJR is three goofball brothers you can't help but know will be successful despite their shenanigans. Failing upward. The Click is something we can all regret. For a lot of reasons. Sorry this took so long, but I really didn't want to. Please subscribe and hit the bell on this video if you haven't already and want to see more videos like this. I'll use this video as a specific track for engagement on new viewers if they want more of this. Also, if you like the video, hit the like button. If you like or don't like AJR and The Click, let me know in the comments. I'm curious to see what people have to say about playground and camp songs intended for kids too old for playgrounds and summer camps. Finally, here's some more animal footage.
I had to mute him because he's so loud and it'd blow out your speakers, but Ivan here is talking about Patreon. People on my Patreon and for YouTube memberships got to see this video a couple days early. You can help the channel a ton just by $2 a month, not a video, a month. It goes and helps out everyone massively here at Rocked, including Ivan and Pearl. Pearl here just wanting desperately to sleep, but Ivan has to tell you about Patreon and how much it helps. Link in the description.